Welcome everybody to Greenwashing and Weedwashing from Healthy Hemp. As a lot of you would be aware, we obviously are needing to make serious changes in our lifestyle with regard to saving our planet and standing for our planet. But with all of these changes that are happening out there, unfortunately, it can become quite overwhelming for some of us. And for some people, they're finding it so overwhelming that to them, it's actually becoming near impossible to go green and to live a greener lifestyle. So I'm hoping today I can share with you some information that we have gained in our family and me personally, as we have taken the steps, and I class them as small steps towards going green and living a greener lifestyle. So one of the big issues that came up was greenwashing, or with respect to the CBD industry, was called weedwashing. So what is greenwashing and what is weedwashing? Well, greenwashing is basically, it's the practice of marketing a product or a brand as being greener and more environmentally friendly or environmentally conscious than they really are. And it's scary for the consumer because we don't always know, and we tend to believe what's written on the tin, so to say. So as people are becoming more and more aware and more conscious of their impact that they are having on the planet itself, for many companies and big businesses out there, they are seeing this as a great opportunity, a great money-making opportunity, really a way to fill the coffers. And unfortunately, many of these companies, through large marketing departments and by changing their imagery altogether and kind of rebranding themselves, they appear to us as to have joined the fight to stand for our planet, to stand for our world, and they appear to be eco-friendly, rather than through the actual real changes that are being made by the company itself with regard to production or sustainable products, etc. So this is what greenwashing is. It's making out to be more environmentally friendly and greener than what a company truly is at the company's heart, so to speak. So I put together a few tips to help us identify some of the greenwashing things that are out there. Well, number one, beware and be cautious of products claiming or stating that they're 100% natural or environmentally friendly. I see a lot of the round badges that say eco-friendly, and it's a badge, and that's it. And a lot of products are putting this on themselves without actually substantiating or providing information as to how or why their particular product is 100% natural or environmentally friendly. The other thing is CFC free. I mean, this is a given. I even see it on a lot of selling websites that are out there, that companies are still stating that they are CFC free. Well, there should be no need to be stating that you're CFC free, because CFC was actually was banned more than 20 years ago. So why should you need to be stating it now? No company is supposed to be using CFC anymore. So you shouldn't need to be actually having to state that your particular product is CFC free. So try and avoid basically products like this that are making irrelevant statements about their production method or about their content. So the next is that to look for reputable certification marks and seals. What a minefield. I cannot believe how many seals and marks, certification marks there are out there. And there are some certification marks that are a minuscule change in them, or a tiny bit of information is missing. And that actually means that it's a false certification. But you're finding them all over products. So try and look for reputable ones. And people might say, well, how am I supposed to know all the reputable certification marks and that there? And I'll give you a little bit of a tip later on in our next slide. But if you're unsure, basically my advice to you is check the cert, check the actual seal that's on the product. Never feel scared to actually question the store owner or the online store that you might be dealing with. Question what that stands for and is it legitimate. And if you are still unsure, do some research yourself. There are reputable sites out there, there's actual certification sites out there, and take a look. Put the product down, and you know what? The product will always be there when you want to go back, when you've actually checked yourself that's going to be exactly what you are going for. Packaging. Oh, a big one, a very big one. So the packaging, a lot of products may be green, but is the packaging also green? This is something that you do need to check. There's no use buying something that the content is 100% eco-friendly, but you're buying it in a packaging that is 100% against being eco-friendly. So there we go. Another tip for you to take a look at. Pretty pictures and uses of earth-friendly colors on products and labels can be extremely misleading. For example, there are some very, very big brands out there, and they decided to change their logo colors to now include the color green. So they took away one color and used the majority of that demanding color on their logo. They now changed it to green. And they basically, in doing this, try to portray themselves as being eco-friendly. But it doesn't necessarily make them a green company. It doesn't necessarily make them as a eco-ethos company. Pictures of mountains and bubbling streams and lovely flora and fauna on a plastic bottle. Definitely not making it green. Now, I say that, and a lot of people say to me, but plastic's recyclable. Only 9% of the plastic that is used currently is actually recyclable. So that's a bit of a food for thought. So it may have a big recycle on it, and yes, I would promote people to recycle, but I think at the end of the day, we need to try and cut back on as much of the plastic as we can, because when you consider only 9% of it's being recycled, it's actually scary numbers. Another tip for looking out for greenwashing is percentages. Percentage less or percentage more. Now, question your percentage claims, such as this product contains 50% more recycled content. 50% of what? There's no use just putting in big bold writing across a product where then nowhere on the product does it actually state why the product actually contains 50% more recycled content. What, than the previous product before or than competitors? So needing a bit more information again. Designations that are just not credible. For instance, the greening of a dangerous product to make it seem safe and eco-friendly. Now, there are many dangerous products out there, and many of them are now being marketed in a way that is trying to basically make it seem as that it's 100% eco-friendly, and it's not, sadly. So let's see, what can we use? Well, I deal with health, so let's choose a product that deals with health. Let's talk about smoking. Making cigarette packages look eco-friendly and changing it to make it look greener doesn't necessarily make it healthy. Okay. Greenwashing versus green marketing. Now, this came up, and quite honestly, when I first saw it, I was like, well, what's the difference? There is a fine line between greenwashing and green marketing. Green marketing is when a company or business sell their products and service based on a legitimate environmental or eco ethos. So we know what the greenwashing is. The greenwashing is when a company hasn't actually made any eco changes, but they change their branding, the colors of their product labels, or they change the actual pictures and that to come across as being more eco-friendly, when in actual fact they're not. But green marketing is companies that are actually, they have a legitimate environmental eco ethos. So green marketing companies are generally, they're honest, they're transparent, they're very practical, and the products and services that they produce or offer meet the following criteria. So they are manufactured in sustainable fashion, they are free of toxic materials or ozone depleting substances, they're able to be recycled or is produced from recycled materials. They're made from renewable materials such as bamboo, etc. They do not use excessive packaging. In actual fact, there is quite a drive nowadays to get rid of the boxes if you've got a glass bottle on the inside. But even in those that are continuing to use possibly boxes around their glass bottle product, you find that a lot of that is now recycled, fully compostable, and so forth. And another thing is that it's designed to be repairable rather than disposable, repairable or reusable. And that is a big eco-friendly product. Well, I see it happening more and more every day. There's more and more products that are coming out from different companies that are actually becoming repairable and reusable rather than disposable. We unfortunately live in more of a disposable society, I think, than we ever have. And it's doing nothing but actually filling up our landfills, and not just the landfills, it's filling up our seas. So the damages of it is far-reaching. So I'm going to move now on to weed washing. So weed washing is a word specifically used in the CBD industry. And the CBD industry, unfortunately and very sadly, is just not exempt from greenwashing and weed washing. So some of the things to look out for: all natural, a very generic term. More information is needed and required to substantiate that claim. And don't be scared to ask. If there's a box that says all natural written on it, I'm happy for you. Please substantiate what is all natural about your product. The term cannabis or hemp oil, cannabis seed oil, and another term for that is hemp seed oil. It does not contain any CBD at all. And this is a big weed washing that's happening in the CBD industry at the moment. Basically, it's bottles of hemp seed oil that have their own health benefits. Don't get me wrong, phenomenal for your health, but it is not CBD oil. It is from the seed of the plant, where CBD oil comes from the flower or the bud of the plant. Cheeky labels and terms to attract your attention and maybe feel that you've been a little bit cush and dope. So rather just stick to those that are CBD, this is a CBD oil, rather than the cheeky terms. Milligram dosage on label and packaging. Some state very high CBD milligram content, but no percentage. And then be cautious of labels that state low, medium, high as their only strength indicators. So you walk into a shop and you say, I'm looking for CBD, and you talk to the retailer and they turn around and they say, well, we have these levels of CBD, low, medium, and high. My recommendation, turn around and walk out the door. CBD has milligrams in it, and the milligrams and the percentage actually are calculated. You might have a very high milligram of CBD stated on a bottle, but the milligrams with how much oil it's actually being mixed with is where the percentage changes. For example, if you have 500 milligrams well, let me put it this way, actually. Yes, if you have 500 milligrams in a 10 ml bottle, you're looking at a 5%. If you have 500 milligrams in a 50 ml bottle, you're looking at 1%. So this is where it comes. Rather try and get CBD products that have milligrams and a percentage, if possible, stated on the packaging. Approval and certifications. Now, there are so many unfamiliar seals and marks of certifications out there that it's scary, especially in the CBD industry. It really is scary. At the moment around the world, there seems to be a bit of a fight going on of who is actually going to regulate and be the regulators of the CBD industry. There are regulating associations out there, and it's just to know who they are. And I have the ones that I personally work with through Healthy Hemp that I will show you just now. But other than that, there is quite a bit of investigating that you may need to do for your specific country. And again, never feel scared to ask. A very big word that pops up with food nowadays and CBD. Now, CBD obviously in Ireland and in the EU it is licensed and it's legal as a food supplement. But the word organic in textiles, in foods, in CBD, in products, anything that is supposedly organic, there are actually 3 different levels of organic, and not many people know about it. They just see the word organic splashed across a product or on the marketing or in the advertising, and they think, oh lovely, that's all organic, the bees feed the plantation, etc., etc., and they don't use any chemicals in it. You need to be careful. There is 100% organic, which is exactly that. All the ingredients and the practices, in other words, the growing of the plantation, for example, in the CBD industry, or the cotton, is 100% certified organic. The soil is organic. And that is highly important when it comes to hemp, because hemp is a bioaccumulator, and a bioaccumulator sucks all the toxins and metals and radiation out of the soil. And if you've got bad soil and you plant hemp for CBD products and it sucks all of that into the plant, you basically, the CBD extract is going to have all those toxins and chemicals and heavy metals in it. That is definitely not organic. Okay. So you want to make sure that if something is organic, and that's what you're going for, that it's 100% organic. If it is just stated organic, it contains 95% organic ingredients with some approved chemical additives. Now, some of these chemical additives could also be, for example, ethanol from sugarcane. Okay. And some of the chemical additives have been approved as food safe. So that's where that comes in. Made with organic ingredients. Now, I see that label on so many products at the bottom, written made with organic ingredients. Now, this certification only means that some of the ingredients are organic. Not all of the ingredients, not the product as a whole, just some of the ingredients within that product is organic. So just a very quick one here. The difference between hemp seed oil and the difference between a hemp-based CBD oil is this. Number one, your first thing is hemp seed oil does not contain CBD at all, okay? It has fantastic health benefits, but it does not contain any CBD. Your CBD oil does contain CBD, all right? And there you go there. You can get the full spectrum. You can also get CBD isolate, and you can get broad spectrum CBD. Broad spectrum CBD is all the cannabinoids that you'll find in the plant. So it's CBD plus another 113 identified cannabinoids, but the broad spectrum has no THC in it. Your full spectrum has all the cannabinoids and THC. THC is the one cannabinoid in the cannabis plant that can cause euphoria or a high. But the legalized percentage of that is 0.2% for Ireland and the EU and most of the world. THC in most of the world is illegal, but in some places it is not. It is legal, but it is controlled. So isolate is purely the CBD. They've done the actual extraction. They've got the CBD extracted from the hemp plant, and now they put it through more processing to actually just get the CBD itself. So there is no other cannabinoids in it and no THC whatsoever. So there we go. Now, these are the hemp certifications and seals that I work with personally. Okay. Your one at the top there is the Irish Industrial Hemp Association, and they're an association that are regulating the quality of the hemp and hemp CBD extracts in Ireland. Healthy hemp is approved by the Irish Industrial Hemp Association, as is Hempture, who is the company, our main stockist, and all the other partners, UHemp and so forth, for whom we supply products. EarLab is a Irish lab testing facility. They're an independent third-party lab testing facility, and they test the CBD extracts and obviously any of the CBD products, both for percentages and quality. They also test for over 400 heavy metals, insecticides, pesticides, herbicides, etc. The V label. Now the V label is, I put it up there because that's one of the certifications that we have, and that's for, it's certified 100% vegan, and that is in relation to one of our products, the UHemp. UHemp is vegetarian certified. So you will find that on all their products. Not all the products that we actually stock, and not all the CBD products that are out there are necessarily vegan. They may come from a plant, and they're obviously a plant food supplement, but it's how they've been grown. And with that is where it comes into consideration of the growing side of it, of the feeding of the soil. Were they fed with plant vegetation, or were they fed, such as in Ireland, where the soil and that is sprayed with slurry, and obviously slurry is an animal byproduct. So that is where the vegetarian seal comes in. So now I'll put this up for you, and there are a lot of seals out there, and this is where I can tell you that even my journey with trying to become greener and going green it's really been a real research and investigation, because there are absolutely thousands of seals out there that are certified and legitimate actual certification programs. Not all of them are here in Ireland. Some of them are all over the world, and Japan and Germany and so forth. But I would obviously, being in Ireland, I would be looking at certification seals that are for Ireland and for Europe as a whole, because obviously of our trade. If you were looking at products that are maybe coming in from America and so forth, I would say really look at a certification company that's in America, such as these certification pictures and programs that are here are actually from the Control Union certification. So they have their website, and you're able to look up the different industries. But obviously, when it's going eco, you're wanting, if possible, please to go for things that are GOTS, which is the organic textile standard when it comes especially to cotton. People think cotton's a plantation, or why do we have to worry about it? Because organic cotton is very different to your normal cotton that is actually just planted out there when it comes to water usage, chemicals and insecticides and pesticides and so forth. So there's some of the seals there just for in our textile industry. As you can see, there's the wool standard at the top. Here is for our organic industry, which obviously would be, again, you would be looking at, some of them would pass over these certification seals. So the ones that to me would be a lot more relevant would be our EU regulation, EEC, at the top. Also, one that I would be interested in is our bio. And obviously we have also our ISOs. A lot of the ISOs, especially in Ireland, are from the National Standards Authority of Ireland, which is abbreviated as NSAI.ie, and you can see a lot of that there. Our next one is our environment, which obviously is what we're striving for at the moment. We are striving to save our planet. We are striving to, there's no planet B, let's put it this way. This is all that we have to give to generations to come. And a lot of the environmental eco-friendly certifications out there that you would maybe want to consider is, number one, you're plastic free. That is at the forefront, I would say, for a lot of people, is just to cut back on your plastic. And I know a lot of people have said to me, I can't stop using plastic. Look at the world we live in, everything's in plastic. Yes, it is, absolutely. And this is where the biggest battle is to try and cut back on it. But you can start to actually cut back yourself, even in your own home. It's the small steps. This world doesn't need one person being 100% going green. They need 1 million people doing small things to go green. And that would be, for example, reuse your plastic containers, such as in our shop Goin Green, you can find actually the pods, the refill pods that you can put back into your spray bottle. So you're using the same spray bottle instead of replacing it by buying another one off the shelf. For a single person, that would be 30 bottles possibly that they wouldn't need to replace in that year of their cleaning through their house, when you consider all the different products that we use in spray bottles. So you would be using that one, and there would be a huge comparison. Take that one single person that maybe uses 30 products in a year, multiply that by 10 people, and you're looking at 300. Now multiply that by the millions in the world, and the numbers start to add up. The FSC is obviously also another one. It's the Forest Steward Council. Now, you'll see those labels, and please, this is where people also need to be a bit careful and be aware. Most of the certification labels will also come with a percentage, or they'll come with more detail attached to them. For example, the FSC there also has a paper, and on their paper ones, you'll see that it will say 100%. It will say 100% FSC, or it will say mixed, or it will say recycled. So they tend to give details with the smaller label when it comes to that product. Very seldom will you actually come across a certification that doesn't have some substantiating information about it next to it. So obviously we're also wanting to try and become more carbon conscious and minimize our carbon footprint in this world. So that's also something that you might want to also consider. For example, going back to our plastic bottle, you buy less, which means that you are not needing to get the shop to order so much, and also where you are buying from. The carbon footprint also comes down to where are your vegetables coming from? How are you getting them, for example? So unfortunately, a lot to think about, hey? Here on the 2 pages, I just put these 2 up for you. It's for good agricultural practices. So you've got your FSA at the bottom there. You've got your UTZ certified. I'm asked about that label quite often because our coffee from Healthy Hemp, our CBD coffee, is UTZ certified. And as I say to everybody, it's UTZ certified from soil all the way up to the packaging. In other words, it's fair trade, it's organic. It actually ticks more than just one box. There is a list of what that company has to do in order to get that UTZ certification. So it's a good one. To me, it gets a thumbs up if you come across foods with UTZ certified, obviously in relation to your coffee, your tea, cocoa, and your hazelnuts. Another one would be on, we've all heard of HACCP, which is obviously our hazard analysis and critical control point. we have our ISO ratings. Now, there are a lot of ISO ratings. This one in particular here that's up here is the ISO rating from the Control Union certification body, but we have our NSAI ISO ratings here in Ireland, and those kind of look like two eyes that are overlapping each other. And there's also the NSAI, which looks like a bit of a prism. Now, you'll never just get something with the logo. The ISO rating will have a number and it will have a description next to it to tell you exactly what the ISO rating is applicable to for that. And a company could have multiple for quality, health and safety, food, health and safety, and so on. And there's also a whole lot of other industries that the ISO rating is applicable to, in manufacturing, etc. And then you also have a big one, which is the non-GMO. Non-GMO, in my mind, is vitally important. We don't want to be putting genetically modified foods into our body. We need our body to get as much of our natural foods out there as possible. So we ourselves are always learning. I know this has been very brief and condensed. Unfortunately, I would be here for 3 hours if I had to go through all the different signs and certifications that are out there with regard to looking out and being aware and being conscious of the greenwashing and the weedwashing that's out there. There are so many products that sadly are just basically, they've jumped onto the gravy train and they are just trying to make a quick buck. And my contention is, ladies and gentlemen, be careful. If it sounds too good to be true and it's too cheap for all of that, because those certifications cost those companies money. They have to have abided by very strict production, growth, etc. And none of that comes cheap to the company itself. So they do have to, unfortunately, sell their product to enable to cover those costs, as well as being able to make enough money to continue with their company. So a lot of the eco products out there might seem to all of us to be a little bit overpriced, but at the end of the day, there's a reason why some things are cheap and not necessarily cheerful. So we have a bigger picture and the small steps that we can take as an individual and to start teaching our children, they're going to have a huge impact on our world, on our planet. As I said, there's no planet B that is being set out there on all the forums and social forums that are out there. We have to look after what we have here. And the small steps that we have taken in our own home is, for example, we use eco-friendly cleaning products now to eliminate chemicals. Basically, I'm never renewing any of my chemical products. I'm now replacing them with an eco product. I am using less plastic. I am making sure that our foods and our carbon footprint is as low as possible. I am reading the labels on products, and I'm amazed at how many of the products I've just been buying throughout my whole life. I've never bothered to actually truly read where the product is coming from. And a big thing we do in our house is we have eliminated as much palm oil from our home, from our cosmetics as possible. For example, we use shampoo bars with no palm oil. We are now using the conditioner bars with no palm oil. We look at even our foods, and some of the foods, unfortunately, you can't avoid it, but we now, with that, look for the sustainable palm oil logo on it, which looks like, it's got the palm tree in that. And we're being definitely a lot more conscious of our shopping habits, and instead of flying around the shop. And all too soon, we now find our products that we're happy to use, and now our flying around the shop is back to the same speed, because we know what we're going for and we know what those companies, what their eco ethos is. So hopefully you are going to join us in the journey of going green. and that is why Healthy Hemp opened up the department Going Green as part of Healthy Hemp, where we are slowly growing also in the amount of products that we can help people to start their journey on going green. It's one small step at a time. It's not to go 100% because that would be hard to continue on that without getting used to the new changes. There are slight differences in our environmentally friendly products that we have out there to the old chemical ones that we all got so used to, but there's nothing in them that is preventing us from actually still living our life, still cleaning our home and so forth. So thank you so much for joining us today. I am going to leave that up there for a few minutes if you are interested in our department to look at our eco stuff. If you've learned quite a bit of our greenwashing and weedwashing, I hope I've done a learning episode with you today. As I said, we are still learning, so please don't knock me for not knowing all the information out there. It is a huge amount to learn. But we are available on our Facebook page, which is at Healthy Hemp Ireland, where we have a photo album at the moment for our Growing Green department. Our website is busy being made at the moment and is coming soon. So just a disclaimer again, ladies and gentlemen, obviously the information that I have provided you today is of personal opinion and from personal research. It's not intended as law. And we advise you as a consumer always, no matter what you are purchasing, whether it be an article of clothing, bed linen, a mattress, or you're looking at food or whatever you are purchasing, please can I ask you to just be consumer smart, use a bit of time to maybe just educate yourself about possible seals and so forth that are out there. And just so anybody knows that this was not to intended to credit or discredit any products or companies today. So thank you for joining us. Keep smiling, keep shining, and hopefully we'll hear from you soon. And if you have any questions, we are available to answer your questions for you as best as we can, or direct you, give you direction on where to possibly go research and do some self-research. Thanks so much.